In this video, we're going to be looking at price elasticity of supply again, but what we're going to focus on is what are the things that determine the PES? What are the factors of the PES? Okay, so for example, if we are in the short run, okay, where we have a limited factor of production, so for example, capital, we are limited by one of our factors of production, our price elasticity of supply is likely to be inelastic because we're not going to be able to respond very quickly if there is a increase in demand or an increase in price. Okay, however, in the long run, the price elasticity of supply will be elastic. It will be very responsive. In the long run, the firm is able to increase its production to whatever level it needs to be to fulfill the demand. Another one is capacity utilization. Okay, so if a firm is underutilizing their capacity, so let's say, for example, they're at 50% capacity, okay, then any increases in demand is going to lead to an increase in production very quickly. Okay, however, if the firm is at full capacity, so they're using all their factories, they're using their machines and their labor at full capacity, then it's going to be inelastic. They're going to be unable to increase their supply any further past this point. Another one is the good a perishable good? So does it go off? Does it have a sell-by date, for example? In this case, PES is usually inelastic because in the case of perishable goods, the supply is only good for a certain amount of time. So if the price goes up for this good, the manufacturer can't rush to produce too much because if they do, the good is likely to perish. Okay, they cannot store this good in mass quantities in their storerooms for a very long time. Another one is factor mobility. So factor mobility is either geographical or occupational factor mobility. If we have high factor mobility, that means our factors of production are very easy to get access to. So for example, labor, if your labor, let's say your workforce live very close by to your business premises, and let's say they are all, let's say for example, the level required of this labor is just unskilled work, then there's going to be a very large pool of people to pick from if you need to increase your production very quickly. So this is elastic. However, in the case where your factor mobility is very low, so let's say for example in the case of a hospital, and suddenly there's been a massive increase in the amount of people who are sick, there's going to be an increase in the demand for doctors, so the supply of doctors is going to have to go up. But how quickly can that supply go up? It cannot go up very quickly because getting access to doctors is not a very easy thing. It's a very difficult thing because you're looking for specific skilled work. Okay, so in this case, factor mobility is low, and this would result in an inelastic supply curve. Okay, the other thing is the complexity of the production process. So if the production process is very, very complex and there's a lot of moving parts to the production process, then it's likely that the supply for this product is going to be inelastic. Whereas if it was a very simple product to produce with not very many moving parts, it's more likely that it's going to be elastic and suppliers are able to respond very quickly. The other thing is the time taken to manufacture the good. Okay, let's say we're talking about a good. If it takes a very long time to manufacture a good that a firm is trying to sell, the supply is going to be inelastic. So this would be the case of, let's say, a very large project like building a road, let's say. That's going to take a very large, a long amount of time to produce. So the supply of that is going to be inelastic. Or let's say, for example, new housing. It takes a very long time to build houses. So again, the supply of houses is going to be inelastic. I hope this made sense. Any questions, please leave them down in the comments box below.